Also, I think there's something else in play.
There is another thing, we haven't gotten to it yet.
There's a huge amount of stuff that connects to stuff to connect to stuff to turn the computer off.
Yes.
If you have this many little plot device things, you've got like at least 4 times too many.
Well, I mean, and this is why I want to go piece by piece, because all of it's nonsense. How the fuck did Luthor create an algorithm that destroys the entity? The entity is basically a singularity at this point. There's nothing there's nothing a human could write in code.
Way beyond.
They don't treat it like that. They treat it as if the entity's kind of like a blob that can like move around through the internet.
It's
like
so
as
fucking stupid.
Like as if it moves from one place to the other, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of loose, but it still clumps together, rather than just being everywhere in everything, multiple copies of it. It's like, no, none of that. It's kind of like a blob. It goes in, and then it goes out, and then it goes someplace else, and then it comes out, and then because of that, it's like, you know, it feels like it's a bit similar to the whole Ultron getting like burnt out of the internet by Vision.
Made more sense.
Like what? That does make more sense, to be honest. And isn't that crazy when Age of Ultron and Ultron himself is a less incompetent AI villain than the entity?
Yeah, because
that's not
the
a
way
great
they've
sign for your
described
film.
the entity at this point. I hate calling it that, by the way. It's such a fucking lame name. But it would like accidentally leave on the floor, so to speak, more complicated computations in like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second than Luthor could ever do in his entire life. The difference in intelligence, like, it's so ridiculous that they've made Luthor basically smarter than all humans put together times a billion. Yeah, like it's astronomical, the difference in computing power between the entity and Luthor. It's so funny that they try to pretend like, nah, Luthor was just that good, man. Like, yeah, okay. He fucking soldered that thing himself with his little kit. Like, fuck off. It's so insane.
And like he managed to do that without having access to the entity's source code, because that hasn't happened yet. They don't have it at this point in the story. The only thing I can think is that it's some kind of like flash drive that he's put together that will like explode whatever it's plugged into. But
here's the thing, right? Just to make sure we're clear on it, this AI can build AI that's better than it. That's kind of what we're referring to when you say the singularity. You do it so quickly and so continuously. It's just all over. But if we're not going to go that direction, because the film is not ready for that, you can at least say, right, with its acolytes, you can store the entity on a hard drive and disconnect it. Therefore, this is what we had a problem with Ultron, by the way. You've got the entity is just everywhere and backed up to hell and back, and that there's nothing you could do to stop it. And it can design all kinds of safeguards, probably improving itself. Like, whatever the hell Jesus brain, whatever Luthor has done, it doesn't matter. It's so stupid to pretend that it does, but it's just like the writers are like, we don't know what else to do. And that's the thing. That's the reality we've already talked about. You lose. Humanity loses this one.
You lose. If it's
you have to write limitations into the AI. You've got to start off by doing
the thing is,
you can only do this, you can only do that. It has to be housed in a physical container, But
the very first scene where they talked about the entity in Dead Reckoning, they went out of their way to explain how impossible it was to beat. But then they're like, yeah, but nothing's impossible for Ethan Hunt. It's like, no, this is. It's over. It's done. You lose. Yeah, it was a problem in the previous movie and in this one, is that the entity is impossibly intelligent. Like, it knows everything at all times, which means that the humans can't win.
No.
And every time they make any amount of progress against it, it's because the writers have just dialed back how intelligent the entity is so that the heroes can win.
And that scene is now finished. So back to the other exposition scene.